to go to live. Okay, so I'm on YouTube. My live on YouTube is on. I'm just trying to get this to go. Okay, why am I having such a difficult time?
I am of no help to you.
I cannot get my Instagram to go live. I can't. Here we go. Okay. So if you guys want a filter-free experience, that can be done on my YouTube channel, which is, look at me. Yeah, it's Journey Choi. My YouTube ID is Style Journeys, but it's Journey Choi. You can find me on there, but okay, it's happening. Okay. Do you hear yourself? Love, I'm talking to you.
Yes, I hear myself.
Oh. Okay. So we have not tested this on YouTube until like literally just a second ago. But welcome! We're starting a new series called CHIT with the CHOIS. One, we really like this name because he comes up with some good names. I have to give him credit for that. But also, I want to at least let everyone know how our last name is pronounced, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like Choi. I don't know how else to say it, but
right? And it's so funny because people look at CH and some people just assume that it's a chow. And we get that a lot. I mean, I didn't get it until I got married and I took on the last name. But I recently was called by like chow by a friend, mom friend too. Which is funny. I'm like, what? At this point, like you're letting me know that you either can't read or you don't give a shit. Either way, I got you. So, anyway, I've been begging my husband, who's been helping me, right? My Instagram husband, who's also a business attorney, has a full-time job, and is also the best father and husband that I can ask for. So me asking him to split his time even more and, you know, be on here is like a true validation of my love.
Such kind words, love. I'll do anything for you. I'm glad to be a part of this.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why we thought about doing this is because, you know, in my music business, I work with my husband, right? We didn't want to work together, which is why we do different things. But we realized that in marriage, more so than none, you have to learn to work with one another, right? Not just like in your marriage relationships, but like to become, you know, partners in what? Professional. What do you want to take over?
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say, it's when we talk about our marriage life and understanding each other through our relationship, it's a completely different side of from when we go through our business and well, your business and what I do for a living, and you know, some of the things that we learned in our own marriages we can kind of cross play in our business world, but we also learned that some of the things that we do in our own marriage maybe not work well in the business life, in the business world as well too. So it's kind of, you know, we get both sides of the spectrum, and I appreciate it. It's really made for an interesting experience. I realized I'm probably more difficult than I realized to work with, and I don't know if you feel the same way.
I think we're learning like different parts of each other, right? Like
Yes.
you're saying, I'm sure you find me really annoying. Like
I'm sure it goes both ways.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously we annoy each other because we're married, right? But I mean, we overlook those because we love each other and we all have these weird quirks that annoy the crap out of each other. And then we're at a point in our marriage where you're like, deal with it, right?
Yes.
Like, you love me, I love you, we deal with that. But we're learning that sometimes working together financially or professionally, there are their own challenges, and that's something that we're kind of learning for the first time in the recent couple years. And it's because I started to take his advice. I started to take his legal advice. So for those who don't know my husband as well, he is a business attorney and a corporate attorney, and he specializes in contracts, legal contracts.
It's funny. It's like I don't know what it is. Like everything that you do is on the other side of the line. When I say as far as creativity goes, the artistic side, but then if you look across that line, you have someone like myself who deals with mostly transactional stuff. I live in a world of just documents and just reading contracts all day long. I don't really get to flex my creativity as much, except through writing sentences and ensuring that commas and periods are in the right place.
But it's such a crucial job, and I didn't really understand any of this until COVID, to be honest. I was pretty comfortable with the way I had my time divided between, my teaching hours, between my family, between my husband and I in our marriage, and between me just having my own time to like play things for fun and just fulfill my own desires to, create with my own music. So it wasn't until COVID that I realized, oh my goodness, what really happens to my income? I know what happened to my income. They died from music. And we can sit here and complain about like, COVID, like it made it so difficult. Like, or COVID made it impossible to teach in person, and impossible to teach online, or impossible to perform, impossible to carry out my contracts or contracted gigs. Well, there were a lot of these talks that were happening at home, and I was going nuts because like I am responsible for a huge portion of this household's combined income. And when you have children, we have two, you gotta be pretty consistent, you know what I mean? Like you can't just be broke the next month and like have mad gigs on 1 month and then broke for a couple months and then like make like 10K here. Like it just doesn't work because it's not something that you can build upon. And I did not realize that because like I had faced really no loss. And with COVID, I had to realize, shit, what am I doing wrong? Because whatever it is, it's my fault. I'm the musician. I'm the business owner. What can I do so that I am protected? What can I do so whatever happens in the music world or in the COVID world right now or whatever world, that it's not gonna it's not gonna destroy the plans that we have in our own home and like the future plans that we have and for our own family legacy. So that's when I started taking his advice, and we realized that, honestly, how much do you work?
Well, hopefully no one out there that works with me is watching. But honestly, my schedule has changed a little bit just because of the COVID. I now have a hybrid schedule, so I work from home, but I also work from the office. I would say when I'm in the office, I'm in there for a straight 7 to 8 hours. If I'm home, I'm finding myself working a little bit more than that, just because, when you find yourself having some free time, you always take upon a little bit, you take on a little bit extra work just because you want to get ahead and not, get so behind in, some of the work that's coming through, especially with this being the end of the year. We really focus on making a push for, a successful kind of, at least on the corporate side, a successful kind of bang to the end of the year. So
how many hours are you working? Like I'm just trying to let people know that you have a full-time job here.
I don't know. I would say in a day, I would say probably anywhere from 10 hours to 11 hours. I would say it's a good number to start with. But I'm saying I work all the time, regardless of it being just for, my own work or for helping, the things that we do in, our own world together now. So I think that's a good number.
Yeah, 10 hours, right?
Yeah.
I say that I probably work the same amount, right?
Yes.
Similarly, even though like you have time off on different times and, I'm working different times, like when you're taking naps, when you're working like I'm taking naps, it's like truly split. Mm-hmm. But, I feel like this was so important for me because at the end of the day, right, when you're done with your stuff, your fatherly duties and your work and the stuff that you do for me, love, yes. And when I'm done with my teaching and my beauty business and my music business, and when we come together, like, we don't want to talk about work at all. Like, we don't want to talk about our financial goals. We don't want to talk about, like, hey, what are we doing? You know, where are we at this month? You know, what can we do? Like, am I booked out for the next couple months? It's hard to talk business because we're so butt tired because we're parents. So we thought, what can we do to help ourselves become more accountable and really have the talks to, you know, grow our crypto. Like, we've been really into things like this. I recently pulled out my entire investment from the, you know, our traditional stock market, and we've gone all into the other side now. So that's just my take on that. So we're thinking, okay, what's next for us, right? Like, what's our next financial goal? Like, what do we want to get to? Like, in a marriage, unless you're growing with each other and you're supporting one another, and sometimes two people are not growing at the same rate or even at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
you know, I want to say one thing. I'm really glad that Journey brought me into this, I guess, social media world. I don't really have a presence, and so it's really hard for me to do things like this just because I don't know what to do. But, you know, one thing that that I think about is what Journey just said, is that we have really long days or just really long work schedules. So, you know, she's working, I'm working, and when we come back together, when we have that moment together, you know, we're so exhausted. You know, for me personally, I talk on the phone all day long. Well, I talk through Skype all day long, and so, you know, when it comes to a conversation with Journey, I'm like, oh, you know, I'll listen to you, I'm here for you. But, you know, for me to be able to carry in a conversation, sometimes it's more difficult just because I've been doing that all day long. And I don't think that's fair to her. And so, you know, one of the things that is a benefit of working together now is that now it kind of brings us to kind of a common point and things that we can discuss. And it kind of makes it, like what she said, it makes us accountable, which I really love and appreciate.
Yes. And thank you so much for doing this.
Of course.
And this is also for us to help one another. You know, we're all about helping each other get to where we want to get to in our careers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we recently also started working only on our strength, you know, rather than trying to work on our weaknesses in our marriage and weaknesses in our finances, weaknesses in our professional world. We're like, you know what, whatever. Like, let's focus. It is what it is at this point, right? So let's just focus on our strength and see what we can do for one another. So this is why we're coming out with, off the bat, 6 episodes, right? So we are doing every Mondays at noon Central Time, and we'll be talking about different topics. Recently, I'm having to go through this challenging legal process of having to reschedule the gigs that are booked and signed under my contract with a very large hotel chain. And, you know, I've done my job at protecting myself and my, you know, estimated income, and we worked the details out together many hours, right, through contracts and going back and forth, and finding some challenges on just wondering why people will just ghost. It's funny that, you know, people think they can just ghost you on email or social media, and that's why I'm doing this, because I want to always get another different perspective other than just a musicians or an entrepreneurs, but someone who works corporate, someone who deals with contracts and is the expert in his legal world. So that way he can talk about how we can better protect ourselves and also to prevent things from happening. That way you're not losing your time trying to collect. A lot of musicians and entrepreneurs have a difficult time because there's a lack of system in the way they collect and they do business. And that's something that, you know, we've learned in the past couple of years that we are trying to really strengthen ourselves with. So
yeah, I mean, this is going to be for a later episode, but, you know, I'll give you like a one-liner here. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen. And so that's one of the things that, you know, I want to educate not only Journey about, but also those who are in the same industry, but it doesn't have to be in the music industry or, you know, being part of a musician's career. Just for anybody out there, if it's not in writing, it didn't happen. And we utilize, you know, what we put together on paper or what we put together on a form so that it only helps you at the end of the day. I mean, and I'll leave it at that because I think this is a good topic for the episode that we've kind of set out for ourselves and for you out there.
Absolutely. And this is my way of also consolidating my content. As you know, I'm creating content for my music business as well as my beauty business in multiple accounts on different platforms. And you guys, it's tough. It's tough because it's you having to schedule every hour of your day correctly ahead of times, or it's not possible to be able to manage and grow them consistently. And I know this because like I've been doing this for many years, and I know like there are times where things aren't growing, and it's because I'm spread out too thin. So this way I'm able to share a lot of legal insights that will help both musicians and creative artists like myself, and share this for my music account on JC Cello Studio, as well as business tips and how to talk to people and how to protect yourself and how to negotiate. So those things and those legal devices can also go through my Style Journeys Instagram. And obviously you can find all of this on YouTube as well. So next Monday, you guys, as we're kind of wrapping up, I want to keep this around 15 to 20 minutes every time. Next week, we'll be talking about my morning routine versus his morning routine, right? And maybe like we can share just a little bit about what we may be talking about.
I'm only laughing right now because my morning routine's a little bit different. It's not as consistent as probably Journey's morning routine, just because I have a hybrid schedule. So there are days when I go to work in the office, and so that changes from whenever I am working at home. And then, I'll just leave it at that. But it for me, it makes for a nice what do I say? There's not a day that I get bored just because of this new hybrid schedule. I really truly appreciate it. It's nice.
Yes, and that is a challenge, you guys, because the routine, what you call it is routine, can never actually be a routine because your life is different every day, and especially when you have when you're married or you have a family or kids. Things happen left and right? And then you end up just having to be so flexible with your hours and your routines to just show up for these things, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about, and how differently or similarly we handle our routines.
Yep.
Yeah. And then after that, we have a few more episodes scheduled, so total of 6. And the one after that will be us discussing the myths versus truth in our industry, in our professional industry.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one.
Yes. He'll be talking about the myth and truth about his legal industry, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you got a lot to add to that. And I say this because I hear a lot of, the struggles that he goes through, right? Because we're working from home together. And I say put it all out there for everyone to listen. If you're going to complain, at least do it to the right audience, And that's why I do what I do. So the episode after that will be 5 things we annoy each other about.
Ooh, that's a good one too. We'll see what.
I'll have to reduce it to 5. Like that's going to be the main challenge for that episode for sure, right?
Reducing it to 5.
Yeah, like
okay.
knock down a 0. I'm just kidding. Me and my husband, we're always screwing around like this, and that's the secret sauce to your marriage. Get involved with your partner in every way possible. Don't sit and wonder why you don't have a relationship, why you don't have a connection, why you don't have chemistry. Like, make shit happen together. That's why you are with that person. Okay, besides that, we have 2 more episodes, right? Mm-hmm. It's favorite parts about our jobs. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's something like we've been recently talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Just like having the appreciation after being in our professional world for like 10, 15 years now. It's like we've learned to say fuck that to bullshit because, it's like we've been in our own industry for a while, right? And you kind of get a sense of stewardship where you want to just say whatever you want to say, right?
Yep.
Educate people freely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, with favorite parts, I think it goes to show you each of our personalities. I think when we get to that episode, I pay attention. I think what's going to happen is you're going to start to hear Journey talk about her favorite part of her of her work, and it's just going to be it's going to probably really marry up with what her personality is. And then when I start to explain my favorite parts, you're going to start to see, oh, I can completely see that about David as well too. For those that know me, but for those that don't, then you'll get to know a little bit more about myself or about me.
That's so funny. I didn't even put those things together.
Yeah.
But you know what? You and I do exactly what we do based on our, I guess, core beliefs and personality traits, right? That is so
True.
funny. And we're literally on the opposite end of the spectrum. Every day we're just like, how do we not kill each other? How do we not kill each other already? So
Yin and yang.
yeah, that is so true. And opposites do attract. So true. The last episode would be pros and cons of our industry, and that will be aired on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last Monday of, you stole my filter, let me take it back, there we go. Last Monday of October. So starting today, which just started actually, we'll have 4 more of these in October, as well as the last one next week, which will conclude the September Monday and then entire month of October. So if you guys are interested in how we just, 1, live life in our marriage, 2, do our best in our professional world, and 3, trying to share some cool shit along the way here and there on like how we have not killed one another and what we've done to, I guess, empower one another and grow. Yeah. So we'll see you next week. And then when I look in my YouTube, I really hope that the audio worked. So thanks for being here.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the invite, love.
Of course. Bye.
Oh, you do really well.
How was it? Were you nervous?
A little bit. I just didn't know what to say.
Do you feel like you're rambling?
Yeah, a little bit.
It happens
But that'll
all
get
the
better.
time.
Were there people on? I couldn't tell. How
Yeah,
can
there are
you?
a few people.
How can
Oh,
you?
we gotta turn this on off. We are so bad. We didn't want to be that couple that like makes mistakes being live and stream.